don't know if you can talk about the signs to know who's really genuine and who's not, who really wants just to get people to realization, and those who just want to become famous and rich and all of these things, especially in the Neo-advaita circles that are spreading like fire everywhere.
Gosh, okay, what I can say was, when Jack was searching, what I used to use to find out if somebody had something that I could learn, whatever, somebody could teach me something, it was how I felt in their physical presence. And it was only after going a few times to really settling and saying, okay, is there something energetic that's going on here? Because when it was energetic, something new that my mind wasn't looking at the self-image or looking at trying to assess intellectually, because I didn't trust my intellect at that point. Because if you're deciding with your mind about what teacher to follow, chances are you'll get it wrong. Do you know? Because the mind isn't going to work towards its own annihilation in terms of that. For sure it's not. For sure it's not. It's going to go along, I like, I don't like. That's what mind does. So mind isn't the tool to use in terms of finding where a teacher can come in for you. For me, I used to just sit with somebody for 4 or 5 satsangs or whatever, you know, until I kind of got the feeling, ugh, no, or yes. And I don't, how can I say if somebody was fake or not? I don't know. I don't know even what that is, but all I would know is if there was a pull for me or not. Whether they're fake or not, I don't know. I'm not kind of, in one way, I'm not kind of bothered about that argument, because what's fake, what's not, it's all manifestation anyway. But if there was a pull, if there was an attraction that was not coming from here, that's authentic enough. That was authentic enough for Jack anyway when she was looking, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's the criteria I used. And I suppose now what I say is, you know, use your own discernment, which would probably line up with that, for you to know that you are your own teacher. That if you need to loop through somebody externally to find what you are, that's all you're doing, is looping through somebody to find who you are. Keep that in the back of your mind, you know. The only thing you are surrendering to is the I is being surrendered to what you are. But because mind is still outward turned to some extent till the very end, because mind is outward turned in that way, it will imagine that what I am, I can see it out there, but I can't find it in here. And so all you're doing is identifying a mirror where you can connect with energetically and recognize what you are. But the I is in the way, and the I says, no, I can't be that, I can't be that. And so all that happens is that the I starts to surrender and melt. But that is what you are. All you're doing is a loop to see that there is no difference between the teacher and what you are. That's all you're doing. It's a mirror. That's as good as any teacher can become.
Right. What about the other point about the Neo-advaita teachers that are just fattening the ego by telling the people you don't have to do anything, you are already that, and they are just stressing the ego, and the ego just believes that it has nothing to do, it's already enlightened, it's already realized, it's already there, and it just doesn't take people anywhere, it just doesn't live any guidance or any true, authentic clarity.
Sure. Some people like that. Some people like that idea, oh, I have nothing to do, and they kick back for a while, and maybe it'll work, but it probably won't. And then they'll try something else. There's nothing really lost there.
Right.
I don't think there's anything really lost there. If somebody, if that resonates with somebody, do nothing and you're already enlightened, and if that kind of whatever advice sits with somebody, well, let them try it out. It'll work or it won't. Do you know, in a way it's all okay. If it brings somebody into suffering, well, in a way that was their path anyway. But either way, you learn. If you hook up with somebody who doesn't help you at all, by goodness, there will be an experience had and there will be a lot of learning. And if that's what needs to come, well, it can come through. It can come through a teacher, no? It could come. It'll have to come if it's going to come. The thing is to find out what works for you. Find out what works for you, and you follow what works for you and what feels authentic for you. But in a way, don't give it your power. Do you know? You're just using it for you to find you.
Yeah.
In a way, it can be a distraction to see what's out there. Do you know? If you keep yourself on center stage, it can be a pure distraction to see this wave of, this Satsang circus that Jack is part of. I mean, there's no denying it. There's this kind of traveling roadshow, you know? You know, spiritual Oprah, you know, the nickname of spiritual Oprah tagged onto this form in Ireland, you know? Do you know? So, what to do, you know? If your form gets pulled into something, what can you do? What can you do, you know? And some people, it works for some and it won't work for some, and that's the diversity. But find what works for you.
Right. One knows that you will never get to enlightenment if you don't have a guru.
That's crap. He said, what about those who say you can never get enlightenment without a guru? I don't believe... Jack followed the path of a guru, okay. But somehow it doesn't feel that is the only way. It doesn't. That's a traditional way. No, there are plenty who don't have a guru. Ramana Maharshi used to say that Arunachala was his guru. If there was a guru, it was Arunachala. But that was post-enlightenment. So there was no guru there. Like, do you know? In the way that disciple-guru. Does that relationship have to be there? Not at all. That's culturally based. And there's something very familiar with the Indian culture for Jack. So that methodology worked for me. And the I was so strong, and I was a woman, and I was going to do it my way, and if there was going to be a guru, it was going to be a woman, and all that rubbish was playing, you know, 10 years ago for Jack. So I had to get broken. It made sense that the fastest way would be to surrender to a guru. Do you know, it just made sense because it was contrary to so many beliefs that I had running, you know. So there are so many ways. There are so many ways. Is it necessary to follow a guru? No, I just don't buy that. I think that's rooted in Indian culture, but I don't think it transfers across the way. Our brains are wired very differently, you know, across the world, if we look from continent to continent. You're your own
So
guru.
basically nothing is fixed. Some people need a guru, and some people will get it through a guru, and some people don't. So nothing is fixed.
Nothing is fixed. How can it be? Every path must be different. There is only diversity in this world. It doesn't duplicate. You know, there's no 2 days where the weather is identically the same. There's no 2 leaves on any tree anywhere on the planet that are identical. Duplication doesn't happen. How can there be 2 paths that are identical? There can't be. But if a guru pulls you in, let the guru call you. You can kick and scream and fight, and you'll know, I have to do this. I just have to do this. Then, okay, there's a guru-disciple thing coming up. But if following a guru happens because everybody's doing it, forget it. Throw it out. Throw it out.
Right. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Jack, and bless you.
Thank you, Faisal. Bless you too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.